The Dan is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Good evening and welcome to my state of mind. I am Dan Yorke, still Zooming, and this is not a COVID warning. We're just doing some studio renovation over these last couple of weeks, and I think for the new year, we should be back in our normal settings. So thanks very much for tuning in. And if you're watching this on Friday night, it's Christmas Eve. If you're watching it on Sunday, it is Christmas night. So Merry Christmas. But of course, we know that it's not just the Christian holiday of Christmas that we observe this particular week. This calendar year, Hanukkah has kind of matched up with Christmas. And tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about Hanukkah, but more importantly, I think we're going to be talking about anti-Semitism, which unfortunately is either on a rise or at a level which is, completely unacceptable to all of us. And I'm sure there's 99.99% agreement on that as we speak. But with no further ado, I want to talk to somebody, introduce you to somebody who's important to this conversation here in our community. She is Wendy Joering, the Executive Director of the Sandra Bornstein Holocaust Education Center. So happy Hanukkah.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays to you.
It's interesting. We spend a lot of time on the Christian holiday season. Year after year, I have to even remind myself, hello, there's more than just Santa Claus, Jesus. And by the way, it ought to be Jesus and then Santa Claus. I ain't preaching, but just saying. But here is folks are actually seeing this on Friday night on Fox, and then ironically on Sunday night, which is Christmas night. You are winding down the festival lights in Hanukkah, and the 8 nights, if I got it timed right, probably are wrapping up in nights 6, 7, and 8 here over the weekend, ballpark at least. Before we talk about some of the more serious issues that are facing the Jewish community, and I think the community at large. This is not isolated to the Jewish community. I mean, it affects all of us. And I think most of us are horrified by some of the stuff. All of us should be horrified by some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. Let's have a lighter moment here and talk about the Festival of Lights in Hanukkah and second century and overcoming oppression and the celebration itself. Talk to me about it.
So, a lot of what Hanukkah is about relates to today. Freedom, celebration, and miracles. The legend has it that the oil was supposed to only last for 1 night. It lasted for 8 nights. And it was a miracle. And I think that freedom, which is one of the biggest, expressions and celebrations of Hanukkah, is so prevalent today. Freedom from anti-Semitism, freedom from hate. And it's just really a celebratory holiday. We eat lots of fried food. So it's fun. It's about family. And, it's nice that it lasts 8 nights. You don't have to, you can't do it this night. You can do it this night. We light the candles every night, but last night it was just me. We were all on different schedules. My kids lit them, at a different time. So it's nice. Tonight we'll be with my mom celebrating.
So is the, just from a custom and culture of all of it, is it heavy gifting early on? I mean, there's a lot of us that are trying to scale down just the whole, maybe I can't speak for the general community. I'm just speaking as an old guy who's saying, you know what, we're going to scale this whole commercial end and this gift giving end down and try to reach in a little bit more to the connectivity, the spirituality, the symbolism of the holiday. So the gift thing is a lot of pressure for people. What's it like in Hanukkah?
It is.
Is it front loaded, or do you save the big one for the end, or how does that go?
So when I grew up, it was one big one, usually on the first night, then the little ones. And then some years it was the big one on the last night. We kind of go back and forth. They got a big one. They got tickets to a concert that they didn't expect at all on the first night. So that was really big. And they've gotten some other little things that they've asked for on their list. My kids celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah. So I'm Jewish, their dad isn't. So they kind of make out, but they also make donations. And they give tzedakah, which is in Jewish means to give and donations. And so even though we're giving them, and I kind of went a little overboard this year. I think coming out of COVID, having one child in college, her coming home was so exciting. I think I went a little overboard, but I do make sure that they give back, and they give back to the community, and they donate to different charities that really need it.
Well, it's nice that you're confessing you're overboard here for the television audience, just to purge a little bit of that. The one thing I think that a lot of folks who don't pay attention to the Jewish season of holy days and important times in the calendars, that Hanukkah doesn't rank
No.
spiritually in the top three.
Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Passover. Like those are the big ones. Really, Hanukkah, I think, for many Jewish families, just over the years, it's become commercialized like Christmas. We still say the prayers, we celebrate, we eat the traditional foods, but we go a little nuts sometimes with gifts. And some people don't. There's no right or wrong. It's what your family wants to do. I went a little overboard this year. I may not next year. It's not, but it's not one of the most it's definitely not one of the most religious holidays. We still work on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Offices are closed. We don't work. We go to temple on Passover. We're at home with very long seders and long meals. But Hanukkah, we kind of just live life like normal and celebrate at night.
So Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, and obviously Passover ought to speak for itself for most folks who are at least glazing at the Jewish calendar. This one's light, fun, and appreciative, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. And I think this year, which we'll talk about shine a light in a few minutes, I think that with so much anti-Semitism and hate in the world, the Shine a Light really is shining a light and making the Jewish community feel good that there are so many people participating in it who aren't Jewish.
All right. Very good. Unfortunately, we need to talk about the stuff that you're working on with your incredible work as the executive director of the Sandra Bornstein Holocaust Education Center. And when we come back, we shall do so. Stay with us, please. Welcome back into my state of mind. Again, we're Zooming just because we're working on some studio stuff. It is not COVID. Repeat, it is not COVID. We will be back in the studio for the new year, I'm told. Cross your fingers. So that's that. Listen, Wendy Joering is the executive director of the Sandra Bornstein Holocaust Education Center and has been, working on a project called Shine a Light on Antisemitism. That Wendy has to do this work and that this work has to be done is unfortunate. One of the reasons why is this kind of nonsense that goes on in the community. Recently, only last month, WPRI filed a news story on messages being sent through the community.
North Providence's police chief says anti-Semitic propaganda has now popped up in town twice in the last month.
This also goes back along with an incident we had on October 16th in our town with the same type of propaganda.
The chief says the flyers were the same ones Newport police found on the same night in their city. Newport police told me 2 men from out of state ended up being cited for littering when officers discovered they were throwing around anti-Jewish pamphlets around the city. Police were able to nab the men for going the wrong direction on a one-way street.
And we've definitely seen a marked increase over the last few months in anti-Semitic incidents. Now, that could be that they're just getting reported more, but I suspect that they're happening more, and that's something that's really troubling to us.
The Jewish Alliance of Greater Rhode Island tracks anti-Semitic incidents, noting 23 have been reported since just June to the Alliance.
Regardless of the way it goes, we're taking it serious. They're making the folks of the town and city a little uncomfortable. And we are going to do the best we can to come to a solution to this.
Warwick police are trying to identify this car and the person or people inside it. Police say these plastic bags with flyers were thrown on various front lawns and driveways overnight. The outside of a 4x5 flyer inside the bags read DEFCON 3 on Jewish people and Kanye 2024.
It's scary. This is crazy. This is just an awful thing.
Nancy and her neighbor Anne-Marie both noticed they had bags on their properties, along with much of their Oakland Beach neighborhood.
There's nothing explaining why we're getting them or why they did this.
Warwick police tell me the back of the flyer, which neighbors I spoke with didn't read because they left the bags sealed, had even more concerning statements inside regarding slavery. Police say the authors of the flyer say they were, quote, distributed randomly without any malicious attempt.
Unfortunately, this is becoming far too common throughout our country and throughout our state.
Adam Greenman, president and CEO of the Jewish Alliance of Greater Rhode Island, says messaging like this has only gotten worse when celebrities like Kanye West have made racist remarks in recent weeks.
It gives a permission structure for folks who already had these views to be more brazen and to be more active.
I don't know why. Do you know why? I don't know why.
No. Anti-Semitic tropes, conspiracy theories, it's being normalized. It's out there on social media. People are watching, and it's being infiltrated that way. And it's spreading.
Yeah. Kanye West didn't help.
No. I think that's what brought it to a peak. And that's what really has like pushed it over.
Well, talk to me about the history of this, though. I mean, Kanye West, pulled his stunt only a couple of months ago, and the former president having him at the Mar-a-Lago estate didn't help either.
No.
But this is, we've been talking about this, unfortunately, for years and years and years and years. Go backwards here. Well, look, I mean, the idea that you educate on the Holocaust, the idea that as we get further away from the Holocaust, as with so many other things in life and in history, the further away you get from it, the less orientation people have to it. We should talk about that too, maybe in the next segment. But tell me, is there an uptick time here that you're citing in recent history, decade
Absolutely.
ago, 5 years ago? Okay, what is it?
Absolutely.
What is the tripwire here?
I don't know. You know what I think? It was definitely on the rise. The hate of the Jewish people is, I think, the oldest hate in the world. And it's been on the rise. And I think when COVID hit, people were on social media a lot and people were stuck at home. And I think that's what really got it going. And then I think when either political influencers or entertainers start making statements that especially the younger population listens to, and when you like somebody's music or you like somebody's entertaining and they're saying this, then you start to believe them. And I think that's why it's kind of, gaining traction. But there's, without a doubt, more good in the world than bad. And this started the Shine a Light because of a shop owner on Hope Street who is not Jewish, who contacted Temple Bethel's education director and said, what can we do to support the Jewish people? We want to show them this holiday season that we stand in solidarity with them. So as bad and awful as anti-Semitism is rising, there are good people out there that want to, show us you're not alone.
Yeah, but I also recall, and again, we've been on the air for so long. As it dawns on me, I'm thinking 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, the synagogue shootings and all of that. It predates COVID.
It does predate COVID. I mean, Pittsburgh changed everything. I think I'll never forget that day. I was the security liaison for the Jewish Alliance at the time. And I just started getting phone calls from everyone. And we had to really go into action that day. And from that day, most synagogues have, protection there whenever they have something going on for services or bar mitzvahs or different things, because people want to be able to pray and celebrate safely. And they don't feel safe unless they have security there. And I think that the police take it extremely seriously. We're very lucky in Rhode Island. The departments are work with us very well. I'm not, doing the security anymore, but Pittsburgh really changed everything.
When you talk about this stuff on a intrinsic basis, and when you offer seminars and education on all of this, is there a core motive for anti-Semitism that you've been able to target, identify?
It's really hate. I hate within someone, and then they find a population of people that's a minority and they feel that they can bully. that's really what I think. The Jewish Alliance had a great program. I don't remember the name of it, several months back, where they brought in a Muslim gentleman whose dad was killed at a mosque, and one of the white men who was part of that group, who is now reformed. And I remember him saying that you're in so much hating of yourself that you it's like you act out and you find something to pick up on. And it like explodes from there. And I think people also, if they're isolated and they find this group of people that they can be part of that little community, I think it makes them think they feel good.
Well, there's a lot of education that needs to be done. When we come back, we'll finish up discussing about what the Holocaust Education Center does and how it might I don't know. Education is the antidote for a lot of things. You know, maybe it will help to slow this process down. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Back with Wendy Joering, who is the executive director of the Sandra Bornstein Holocaust Education Center. Tell us about the center and the work that it does.
So the heart of our center is our Speakers Bureau, which is our survivors and second generation survivors going out and speaking at middle schools, high schools, churches, synagogues, community centers. They speak all over. We reach about 6,000 students a year. And we've already, we're probably at almost 2,000 already since like September of the amount of people that we've spoken to. So our survivors go out and they tell their story. You know, we still have 3 survivors that go out kind of regularly. We don't overwhelm them. We don't, never more than once a week for one person. But they, we have one survivor that is speaking on her 95th birthday in January. And I said, are you sure this is what you want to do? And she said, this is what I want to do. I want to do this. So they are adamant that as long as they are able to do this, they want to educate people on what happened, because they see what's going on in the world and they want with the Holocaust denial. And so they see that. So that's the heart of what we do. We've also started a few new programs this year. One is LIFT, Leadership Institute for Teens. It's an interfaith program. We have kids that are Jewish, not Jewish, Black, white, Hispanic, all together learning lessons learned from the Holocaust and other genocides to help them be upstanding citizens and not be bystanders when things happen. We launched a pilot program at elementary schools called Get Up, Stand Up, which is a reading program about empathy and tolerance and kindness. Kindness is really the key there. So we're really trying to get out there.
Sure. To have, I guess, elderly, veteran folks. I mean, a woman at 95 years of age to have the stamina and the tenacity to come and speak to her experience. I've told you in previous discussions on the air that as a young guy, as a teenager, I worked at a clothing store owned by two Jewish men who had experience of Holocaust, and they wore the pain. When I say that, it was built into their. I felt that they had. First of all, they were kind but very intimidating senior guys, very serious about their business. But what I took from it was that they had an essence of having gone through an experience that was uniquely painful. It was just, you just knew it.
Every experience is unique.
Yeah, and now we're moving away as the greatest generation and all this kind of stuff. There's time marches on, and keeping history alive is hard. The last thought on that.
We are working really hard to create programs like these other programs where we can still work with teenagers, especially, and young adults, and teach them. While we still have our survivors here, we're doing everything with them. We have them on video. We have them doing all different creative things, but we're working on programs so when they're not here, we can still keep this education going. This education will not stop.
And why, I guess, last thought attached, why is Holocaust Education Center to an anti-Semitism battle?
We have to teach what happened and how people systematically worked to kill an entire group of people because of their religion. And not only did they kill 6 million Jews, they killed people if they were Black, if they had a disability, if they were what they called gypsies. So systematically, they would have wanted to kill many, many, many more million people. And we need to keep educating so people see how things like this happen. So if they see a sign, they can help redirect it so it'll never happen again.
Sure. Well, we wish you great success with the Sarah Bornstein Holocaust Education Center. We certainly just denounce this anti-Semitic, if it's momentum at all. And I think all good, people of all goodwill during the season of goodwill need to remember to, when you see it, identify it, speak against it, and be done with it.
Thank you, Dan, for giving us this platform. And for your viewers, we have programs that are open to the public, open to everyone. So check out our website. We would love to see you in January 2023.
All right, and for you, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Final word and welcome back, students. The fight against anti-Semitism, I think, speaks for itself, right? Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas to all of you, and a Happy New Year. Next week, we will have a repeat broadcast and come back to you the following week in the new year, likely back in studio, and with whatever the new perspective is. We'll take a little time off on the radio show, too, and shut it down until after the holidays. So my best to you during this holiday season. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great night.